This is the all-new 2026 Hyundai Palisade in creamy white, limited trim front-wheel drive. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to go over the full specs of the exterior and interior. You're going to know everything about this vehicle, so that way if you go to the dealership because you want to test drive it, you're going to even see how it drives in this review. Reworked LED headlights and daytime runnings. The daytime runnings are going to be vertical, and it goes into the reworked grille. This is going to be a little bit larger and more in charge. Now, the interior parts are going to be identical on all trims, except for when you go into the XRT Pro, that's going to be blacked out. Clearance has decreased by 0.5 inches to 7.4 inches. The XRT Pro will get 8.4 inches of clearance. These are active grille shutters here on the lower. The limited trim gets the front and rear parking sensors, 360-degree reverse camera, and you get that satin aluminum that brushes, so it gives a two-tone with the glossy black. And I appreciate that they put this here, because if you remember the 2025, it was matte black. And now this year we finally get two power options, which I usually complain about when I'm talking about Honda, Nissan. Toyota already has hybrid variants, but they have implemented that with the Hyundai, and I actually appreciate that because we still have a naturally aspirated V6. It's a 3.5 liter now. We do decrease horsepower by 4, and we lose 2 pound-feet of torque. So we're now getting 287 horsepower with 260 pound-feet of torque, which is not going to really change that much compared to an 8-speed automatic transmission. But we also have a hybrid with 329 horsepower, 619-mile range. That's a game changer in itself compared to the competition. Now, the front overhang is 1.6 inches shorter, and you'll have the horizontal lines that go into the A-pillars. It's going to be a more flat layout with a 0.31 CO. And look how large that window is. The whole stance actually makes it look like it's sitting up larger than the prior gen. Standard is an 18-inch wheel. The Limited gets these 20-inch wheels. And the XRT will also have a unique 18-inch wheel. The calligraphy, they're 21-inch. You have the two-tone that will go on the lower, as well as the satin aluminum in between it. And I like the glossy black that just keeps carrying on, because if it was matte black, I just feel like it's cheap when they go that route. Hyundai didn't go that way. Same thing with the side view mirrors. These are reworked. We do have the blind spot view monitoring with that 360-degree reverse camera. So this camera right here will show up on the gauge cluster when you're indicating and project the image there. So you don't have to just worry about the blind spot monitoring, because you can actually view it. The door handles are going to be the same color as the body. The XRT is going to have more of the black on the sides, raised roof rails with the satin aluminum. Now you have a 8-seat configuration when you go into the SE or the SEL Premium for the hybrid. Otherwise, it's a 7-seat configuration. Plus, you got towing at 5,000 pounds, but the hybrid will drop it to 4,000 pounds. You got a rugged style XRT Pro, so it's ticking the box to everything somebody would want in a Honda, in a Mazda, in a Nissan. But Hyundai takes it up a notch, because this is still under 50 grand. Now, I'm not trying to say there's so many pros to the vehicle, but they have done so much to make this better than the segment that it's even in, because it has the best-in-class warranty, which when you go into somebody that competes against it, nobody's going to have much more than 3-year, 36,000 miles. But then you do have the Santa Fe that's a little bit smaller than this, and it also increased in length and width. So you could go that variant, and you'll save a little dough. And you're not going to be losing too much in towing capabilities, because you still can get a hybrid variant there. So that is kind of a con that comes into play, because now they are putting competition in their own realm. And the rear gets a lower trunk lid spoiler with a new LED light bar, satin aluminum for the badging, vertical LED taillights is standard. You get the satin aluminum with the glossy black yet again. There isn't any exhaust to be found. A digital rear view mirror with the front and rear dash camera is now on the calligraphy trim. So safety, it's ticking the box, because even on the Limited, you're receiving the advanced safety technology. So you're going to get 10 airbags standard now. Forward collision avoidance assist, forward attention warning, blind spot collision warning, blind spot view monitoring, rear cross traffic collision avoidance assist, with park distance warning forward, reverse, and side, park collision avoidance assist reverse, and rear occupants alert. And going back to the comparison, the Pilot would be around $60,000. You're not going to spend that for a calligraphy. And when you go into Mazda, it's going to be the same. You got to go into the CX-90 to get something comparable, and this is going to have more room for the third row occupants. Plus, you can adjust the third row, which is the only vehicle that does this. I mean, you can't even get that in luxury vehicles. The seats are stationed. You can only move the back. So now Hyundai is making more cargo, but then you can move the seat back to make more leg space, making it easy for somebody like me to fit. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Definitely click the like button and let us know what you think about the new Palisade and the competition and which way you would go if you were shopping for a third row SUV. Power trunk lid going into 19.1 cubic feet, which is an increase by 1.1 cubic feet over the 2025 variant. You get a 12-volt charger. Underneath the floor, gets a ton of storage capacity. The split fold, the third row, simply push the buttons. It's going to fold at a 60-40 split, increasing cargo to 46.3 cubic feet, which is 0.5 cubic feet more than the prior. And to split fold those captain seats, do the same thing. It's going to maximize cargo to 86.7 cubic feet, which is 0.3 cubic feet more than the prior gen. And unlike other automotive industries, Hyundai has thought of it all. So when you push this, look at this. They all fold up and they all fold down by one push of a button. The key fob to the new Hyundai Palisade. 12-way power seat adjustment, heated ventilated front seats, leather, perforated. You get the contrast stitch as well as the piping in black memory for the driver. When you go into the calligraphy, you'll get the Ergo Motion 18-way power seat adjustment with Napa leather, and calligraphy will be here on the headrest. The limited trim does not sacrifice, so you're getting 14 speakers through Bose. The dashboard is all new with a storage sleeve for the passenger, and look at how much space I have putting that down for the glove box. You have a pass-through with a 12-volt, a storage area here. I'm just blown away by the actual leg space because this is literally about 2 inches more than the prior. And a lot of that is because of the way the dashboard is now configured, because we don't have like a wall here between us. Let's fire it up. Flat dashboard layout, and I appreciate that, especially the way they have put the infotainment screen and the gauge cluster into the dash, because now it actually fits. So the touch to finish, I think they did an excellent job for this refresh. You still have physical buttons. You got wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming, Bluetooth audio, Amazon Alexa. I mean, you have everything that you need with the digital key to Hyundai Pay. Put it into reverse, 360-degree reverse camera. The sub menu, you can change that for just toe line up. You can change it for the sides. You can also change it for the whole back. I usually leave it like this so that way I can see everything, but you also have the 3D view so you can see all around the vehicle, and when you're driving, you see it actually moves. It's pretty cool. The trajectory does expand in the front and the rear. Dual climate control settings, you got a touchpad. I like how they have cleaned up this center area here. Wireless charger starts on the SC, and 100-watt USB-C ports. That is crazy, because now you could charge super fast. The wireless charging pad, it only has an orange light, whereas on other variants, they have 3 different lights, and it will indicate whenever it's fully charged. It still does that, it'll change the color. It's gonna be a little bit more sporty, opens up into a medium-sized storage pocket. Here, it's gonna be a little bit less, but if you go into the calligraphy, you have a button right here, which is your UVC protectant, which will sanitize everything inside. Check out the leg space that you have for the driver, as well as headroom. I have at least 6 to 8 inches with a moonroof and a panel moonroof that goes into the second and more or less the third row. LED interior lights, auto dimming rear view mirror with the home link, heads up display on the calligraphy, leather wrapped steering wheel, multi-function. You get the paddle shifts, and the gauge cluster has a digital reader. You can go through an array of different content for the driver, including changing out the whole layout. So how you do that, you hit the setup here, you go into screen layout. It's the same configuration for all of the Hyundais. Click onto the screen layout, and here's how you'll change the cluster. So you can change that whole layout there. I usually leave it on the Classic. I just kind of like the way it looks. If you go into the SE, it's a 4.2 digital reader only in the center. So the tach and the odometer is going to be analog on that trim. They have now moved the gear lever on the steering column, so no more buttons. I like that it's not looking like an airplane. Dashboard door panel configured together nicely, and you have the contrast with the piping One touch up and down for the front windows, and the front windows as well as that window, as well as the front windscreen is acoustic, so it helps with sound deadening. A large grab handle with ambient lighting, 2 cup holders here, and a little storage pocket in the back. And you'll still have a couple of buttons right here. For the back seats, this is the opening that you have to fit 2 more with the captain seat configuration. Manual sunshades. The Bose comes into play here, and this is your sensor that reads cyclists, pedestrians, and cars. So it will alert, and if the vehicle or whatever is coming very close to you, it will lock these doors so you can't get out. I think that's a really good feature. The grab handle is large, so you can put a larger cell phone here. You can put another one here with a bottle holder and another beverage holder. Let's sit behind me. Move this out the way. Sitting behind me, you have storage and another 100-watt USB-C ports on both sides with a home plug. And this is a storage pocket here. Third climate control setting here, heated and ventilated second row with the air vents in the ceiling. You get the cloth here. Check out the headroom. I have at least 4 to 5 inches. You can recline these seats, but then no one's going to really be able to sit behind me. You can also adjust these seats forward, and it's going to be a little tight for me, which will make it a little tight for me here, but it'll give a lot more space for me there. For the third row, push the button, it's going to move forward. The calligraphy will be power folding for this, and it'll do the same exact thing. That's the opening that you have to fit for 3 more in the back. USB-C ports, it's 100 watts even back here. These seats can electronically move back forward, and it also moves back even more so here for leg space, which is awesome because I don't know of too many vehicles that do this at this price point. 2 cup holders, heated third row, slide this back, and this is the best part because you can move these seats back adjusting, which will give me basically an inch of leg space. Headroom is still doable. Sliding into the center, I'm going to be sharing some feet space. Maybe not, because I can stretch it out like this. But leg and shoulder space I will definitely be sharing, but because you can move these seats back, it actually helps with the leg space and even for the headroom because I have about an inch or so. 287 horsepower. I mean, it's not a performance vehicle, guys. This is something that you want some luxury, premium materials, you're ticking the box to it. You want charging that has 100 watts. For your USB ports, you're getting 6 of them. You're getting a wireless charging pad. My God, at the features that you're actually getting with this vehicle is literally a steal. Maneuverability, not a problem at all. I'm barely touching the steering wheel to turn. So it doesn't feel heavy, but you do feel some of the imperfections in the road, which is great because now, when you are having some issues with your front tires or even your rear tires, you will notice that instead of looking into the gauge cluster. Now the SE is definitely going to be a con because you get stripped of the wireless charging pad, you get stripped of the upgrades in the interior like the speaker setup, you're not going to get as many USB-C ports. You can get a bench, which is awesome. But then the con to that is you can only get that on that trim or the SEL Premium when you go into the hybrid. Turn radius, more or less a stop point, is going to get about 2 lanes. No need to go crazy right now. We just want to see how smooth these 20-inch wheels drive on this limited trim. Now I've driven the calligraphy and there isn't a huge difference when you go from 20 to 21. So if you're concerned about that, I wouldn't even put that into my equation. The XRT Pro is definitely a sweet spot. That, and I would say at least go into the SEL so you get the digital gauge cluster. You'll also get the wireless charging pad and you get a little bit more of the interior elements like the power front seats as well as the H-Tech seats. Limited goes that further step, so you're going to be getting the leather interior, which the difference between the H-Tech and the leather, you're going to notice a little bit of it, not necessarily so much on the wear side, but on the comfort side. The leather is actually going to be a little bit more firm, but I actually like it, especially for the bolstering area. And because you still have 12-way power seat adjustment, you have enough power seat adjustments to make it comfortable for a long journey. Now, somebody at 6'3", my legs are not actually sitting up into the air while I'm driving, which is awesome. So for a long journey, you have so much more leg space and headroom that you can just relax with your knees on the door card or on the center cluster or console. That being said, some cons that come into play, we have increased about 2.5 inches is what Hyundai is saying. We only get max, basically, I would say like 0.5 inches more of cargo capacity. Now you do get 1.1 cubic feet of storage capacity behind the third row. That itself is great. Plus you have the third row that you can adjust the bottom part, so you would extend out more leg room for the third row occupants. So what Hyundai has done is actually given more leg room in each row, plus I can fit even in the third row with headroom. That itself is really surprising, because when you go into something like a BMW, and I know it doesn't compare to this, like an X7, you're gonna be paying double the price, literally. And you're not going to have as much leg and headroom as you're gonna have in this Hyundai. That's how much they have actually thought about this particular vehicle. It's so quiet inside. I'm just blown away that Hyundai has finally listened to us reviewers and customers by putting the gauge cluster and the infotainment screen more or less in the dashboard. It just looks a lot more cleaned up. Even though it's not 100% synced in, it doesn't look like an afterthought. That's what makes this vehicle a lot more special than the competition, because everybody else, they're just throwing these tablet-size, huge screens for no reason, and it just looks like an eyesore. Here, everything actually fits where it should, and if you bump it up into the calligraphy, you get 14-inch heads-up display plus a UVC protectant that's in the center console. Going against competition, hands down, they did a lot better job than Honda. Toyota, you're gonna have a lot more harder materials that's found through the interior of the cabin. Mazda is the only one that I would say has premium materials like this, but then this outdoes the Mazda, not just with price, and you're gonna save anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 depending on trims, but then the third row, you don't have those issues with your legs and your head space. Standard tri-climate control. I mean, when you look at the competition, you're getting more standard amenities here, you're getting more capabilities here, plus you have a hybrid powertrain that gets up to 619-mile range, which is insane, because I can literally drive out of the state of Florida with one fill. So if I wanted to go to like New York and visit some family, I could do so with probably just a touch over 2.2 gallons or 2.2 fills, meaning 2 fills and I would say 25% of another fill, and I'm literally right in the Bronx where I'm from. You sit up higher than the competition, at least it feels that way because of the more boxy, dominant stance. And you get the captain seat configuration, which everybody loves. And with those seats, they fold down like lazy boys. Yet again, another thing that nobody is doing, even going into high-end luxury vehicles that can go over $100,000 to $200,000, you're getting more when you go Hyundai. So is this better than the competition? I think they went that extra step, and now they're making the competition, if they see this review and others, they're gonna say, you know what? We need to step up our game, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check this next video out right here.